Hello again to all you perfume parlour ladies out there. Well, I did make a promise and say that if my first video got over 500 views, I would make another one. And it sailed past that 500 views target in the first week. So today's episode 2 of my women's fragrance recommendations from the Perfume Parlour. I've got a 10 bottle haul to go through with you today, all of which are the extract sprays. So these are the cream of the crop in terms of the quality and performance. My first video included lots of popular and predictable ones, but in this episode I've tried to include 2 or 3 fragrances that maybe aren't quite as mass appealing as the ones that featured in the first video. And these ones are aimed at those of you who are looking for something maybe a little bit more edgy and different and maybe a bit more challenging. So to find out what's made it onto today's list, stay tuned to this episode of Mags Frags. Yes, hello again everybody, and thank you very much once again for tuning into this special women's perfume parlour episode of Mags Frags. I'm Paul, and this is the second episode of this mini-series that focuses on my personal favourite women's copy fragrances from the Perfume Parlour. Coming up in today's episode, I have got a couple of discontinued beauties to talk about, as well as a couple of lovely ones for the summertime, and also a couple of darker, more edgy ones for all you more daring, sexy vixens out there. But before I begin today's rundown, if you are interested in picking up any of these bottles that featured in today's haul to try out for yourself, you can use my unique discount code to get 10% off your first order, which I'll leave a link to down in the description. The link will direct you to a login page and you'll be asked to create a login name and a password. But once you've logged in and you've made your purchases, your discount will automatically be applied at the checkout. And as always, just a quick disclaimer, I don't work for the Perfume Parlour and this video is in no way sponsored by them in any way. So all these opinions that you're about to hear today in this episode are my own opinions, and I did buy all these bottles with my own money. I do, however, receive a small commission for just recommending you to their site, so just by clicking on the link in the description you'll save you 10% while supporting the channel and helping me to bring you some more free content in the future. Okay, so the first up in today's haul is one that's called Spellflower, and the Perfume Parlour code on this one is 1904. This one is a copy of the Bewitching Yasmin from the PENHALIGONS Portraits collection, which was launched in 2017. The top notes in this are coffee and cardamom. In the mid we've got fir and jasmine sambac, and the base notes in this one are oud, Tahitian vanilla and incense. Yes, so we're starting things off with a bang with this one. This one's a warm, spicy and mysterious scent that has a fairly polarising and complex scent profile. It opens up bright, airy and sharp with a bit of a medicinal cough syrupy type accord, and it's the cardamom and the jasmine that I can pick up on the most from the initial spray. But soon enough it sweetens up quite a bit with the oud, the vanilla and the incense starting to come through from the base, and what you get for the most part is a rich smoky vanilla with a hint of oud, which has a fairly dark but yet sweet Middle Eastern quality. I don't really get much in the way of the coffee note in this one, and for me it's more about the sweet but smoky vanilla with a trace of woodiness. If you were to read 100 reviews about this perfume, you would get a straight 50-50 split between people who love it and people who hate it. There's no grey area with this one, and it forces you to either pick black or white. I personally think it's a gorgeous smelling scent with a sexy, gothic and mysterious character. But if you're coming from the latest fluffy Ariana Grande perfume or a blooming bouquet, this may be a little bit rich, sweet and cloying for some people out there. This Perfume Parlour copy is super long lasting and has a really strong projection, and if you haven't tried this one I definitely urge you to pick up a copy to try out for yourself, because in my opinion it is one of the highlights of the Perfume Parlour's women's range, but it's definitely not for everyone, so approach this one with caution. This is a rock chick kind of scent, and definitely not a pink bunny ears type of aroma. Okay, so next up we've got one that goes by the name of Flamed, and the Perfume Parlour code on this one is 0731. This one is a copy of Fan Your Flames by the House of Nishane. The top notes in this one are coconut and rum. In the mid you've got tonka bean and tobacco, and the base notes in this one are oak moss and Chinese cedar. Yeah, so this one opens up with a prominent note of coconut, and it's supported by a boozy rum note, and right away this is like a glass of Malibu in the fragrance form. It's absolutely stunning, and it instantly transports you to a tropical beach somewhere. And like I say, it's a boozy rum coconut rather than coming off smelling like a suntan lotion. It's blended to perfection, and it's just got the right amount of sweetness provided by the tonka bean in the base, and also the bit of the tobacco in the heart of the scent. And as it dries down, you do get some smokiness that comes through, and it just smells really sophisticated and expensive. This would be the perfect fragrance to wear on like a summer evening as the sun's setting and it's starting to get a little bit cooler. It may be slightly sweet to wear in the full heat of the midday sun, but apart from that, it's extremely versatile and easy to wear. Although this might not be for everyone, especially if you're not a fan of the coconut note, but I think it's an amazing scent and one you should definitely try out for yourself because it's such a likeable and interesting scent. This Perfume Parlour copy is extremely accurate to the original, and it's also very, very long lasting with a really strong projection. Okay, so next up we have one that goes by the name of Lots of Fondness, and the Perfume Parlour code on this one is 0326. This one is a copy of Rolling in Love by Kilian. The top notes in this one are almond milk and ambrette or muskmallow. In the mid we've got iris and freesia, and in the base notes we've got tonka bean, tuberose, musk and vanilla. Yeah, so this one opens up very smooth and creamy with the milky almond being the most prominent note. There are some light florals in there too, but I don't think there's enough for it to be classed as like an out and out feminine scent, although undoubtedly more women will definitely gravitate towards this one rather than men in my opinion. We've got some sweetness from the vanilla, the tonka bean and also the tuberose in the base, but it's definitely it's not too sweet, and everything just seems to be very well balanced and well blended. All the ingredients in this one produce a very soft and gentle profile, and it kind of reminds me of something like toasted marshmallows or candy floss or something like that. It just seems really soft and fluffy. There's a small amount of iris which gives it a dusty texture rather than like a full-on powdery vibe, and overall you get a fragrance that's impossible to dislike, that smells really gorgeous. This is the kind of fragrance that would be just perfect to wear as a work fragrance because regardless of how many times you were to spray it, it just wouldn't offend anybody whatsoever. It's kind of like being hit in the face by a big fluffy pillow. So if you are looking for your next dark, challenging and sexy perfume to wear with your new leather catsuit, then maybe this isn't the going to be for you. But in terms of performance, you get like a moderate projection for a couple of hours, and then it becomes more of a skin scent for the next 2 or 3 hours before you probably have to reapply it. So overall, an extremely pleasant and likeable creamy almond scent that's definitely worth trying out, and my sister actually nabbed my other bottle, but I will be keeping this one for myself. Okay, so the fourth one on the list is called Bright Herb, and the Perfume Parlour code on this one is 0113. This one is a copy of Scarlet Poppy Intense by Jo Malone. The top notes in this are ambrette again, muskmallow. In the mid we've got fig, poppy and orris, and in the base there's barley, heliotrope and tonka bean. Yeah, this one is a lovely, classy and delicate perfume that opens up with the muskmallow note, which is quickly becoming one of my favourite notes in women's perfumes. It's smooth, sweet and creamy, and I can definitely detect the subtle hint of fig, which is kind of similar to the fig note that you get in Fico di Amalfi by Acqua di Parma. I'm not entirely sure what the note of poppy smells like, but to me this is just a fruity floral kind of smell with a lipsticky waxiness to it. And I'd say that it smells mature and sophisticated without coming across as being old-fashioned. I'm not going to lie, I have stood at a Jo Malone stand like in Selfridges and gone round the entire collection and not been blown away by any of them, but I really do like how this one smells, especially as it dries down. It's a warm and comforting scent with a slightly musky dry down, which is sweetened up by the tonka bean, but it never gets to the stage of being too cloyingly sweet. There's also an almond sort of nuttiness to the blend, but there's no almond listed in the note breakdown, so I guess it's just like a blend of all the other notes coming together and just producing that almond type accord. The original has been compared to Rolling in Love, which I've just spoken about, but to my nose they don't smell anything alike apart from sharing that musk mallow note in the opening. This Perfume Parlour copy is absolutely stunning, and right from the first spray it smells super high quality, and it's just one that I think would be great to wear on like cooler days or in like an air conditioned office, because it is on the sweeter side even though it's not totally sweet, and I'd say it's just a stunning classy scent and one that you should definitely try out for yourself if you haven't already done so. Okay, so we're now halfway through the list, and next up is a copy of a much loved discontinued gem of women's perfumery, and this retro classic was a huge hit following its release 20 years ago in 2002. This one goes by the name of KUDOS for Women, and the Perfume Parlour code on this one is 0224. Yes, so this is a copy of Gloria from Cacharel, which is now as rare as hen's teeth and goes for over £300 if you actually manage to find anyone that's willing to sell one to you. The top notes in this are amaretto, hibiscus, Bulgarian rose and amber. In the mid there's white flowers, white pepper and vanilla. And the base notes in this are styrax, cedar, cherry, almond and tonka bean. Yes, even today the original is an extremely unique and interesting perfume, which smells absolutely amazing in my opinion. It opens up with a delicious boozy almond accord thanks to the amaretto liqueur note, and this is supported by the rose, the white pepper and also the white florals. The opening's really juicy, punchy and bright, but soon enough, as it starts to dry down, it sweetens up quite a bit, and there's more of the almond that comes through, mixed with a hint of cherry. We've also got some vanilla and tonka bean, so it really does get kind of a gourmand fragrance experience later on, but it's certainly not too sickly sweet. This is such a likeable and easy to wear perfume for women of any age, either dressed up or casual. It's a beautiful fragrance, and it would be sacrilege for any of you not to try this one if you haven't already tried it out for yourself. And it's one that I would definitely recommend adding to your next Perfume Parlour shopping list. Okay, next up is one called Stringy Star, and the Perfume Parlour code on this one is 0042. This one is a copy of, please forgive my pronunciation, but is it Étoile Filante by Louis Vuitton. And I'm sorry if I've just butchered the name, but the Yorkshire accent doesn't really lend itself too well to the French language. But anyway, it translates to shooting star in English, which is a little bit easier for me to pronounce, so I think I'll just refer to it as that from now on. It's a new release which only came out in 2021, so the Perfume Parlour was pretty quick out of the blocks at replicating this one. So the top note in this is strawberry. In the mid we've got osmanthus, jasmine and magnolia, and the base note in this is white musk. Yeah, so finally, don't be either seduced or put off by the strawberry note that's listed in the opening, because it's only a very mild hint of fruitiness just to support the white florals and the musk. The strawberry note might make you think that it's going to be sweet and juvenile, but let me tell you, this one is anything but. It's an extremely classy take on a spring and summer fragrance that's super clean, fresh and uplifting. The balance is absolutely perfect, and the white florals are not too soapy, the strawberry isn't too sweet, and the musk is not, well, too musky. When I smell this one, I just can't help but think that it'd be like a perfect scent to wear on your wedding day, because it smells sunny, it's clean, it's bright white, and it's just got this like happy vibe to it. As with any perfume though, you will get people who don't like how this one smells, but I think there'll be a very small minority because in my opinion this is one of the most inoffensive, easygoing perfumes that I think I've ever sampled. It's kind of like fresh laundry mixed with a little bit of fruitiness, and it's just a fabulous little summertime gem. Wonderful. Okay, so the seventh one that I'm going to talk about today is called AUTOCRAT, and the perfume parlour code on this one is 1166. This one is a copy of Monarch by Boadicea the Victorious. The top notes in this are bergamot, grapefruit, black tea and artemisia. In the mid you've got lily of the valley, freesia, jasmine, rose, cinnamon, pink pepper and cardamom. And in the base there's cedar, oak moss, patchouli, labdanum, incense, vanilla, tonka bean and agar wood. Oh, and just to top it off, there's a bit of leather in there too, so quite a few notes in this one. Yeah, this one is a warm, sweet and fruity fragrance with some slightly darker notes in the background which produce a sweet leathery type accord. It's definitely the most unisex scent in today's list, and if I didn't already know what it was meant to be a clone of, I would have sworn that it was a Penhaligons fragrance, because it smells very similar to the likes of Halfeti, with a little bit of like Monsieur Beauregard as well from the Portraits collection. It's also in the same kind of ballpark as Jazz Club by Maison Margiela, and also Side Effect from Initio Parfums, because it's got that real rich velvety texture with a slight smokiness, but it's also very sweet, fruity and likeable. So if you have tried any of the fragrances that I've just mentioned, you'll get kind of a basic idea of what to expect and where this one takes you. It's an expensive smelling perfume with a definite niche quality, and I'd be probably most likely to wear this as a dressed up evening scent, or one to wear in the cooler months of the year. Again, this is a bit more out there than your average female designer perfume, but it's absolutely a love at first sniff for me, and I think it'd be really nice to smell coming off a woman. But it's also one that a man could wear with ease, and I will definitely be keeping a hold of this one to wear for myself. Okay, so we're piling through them now, and next up is one that's called Virtuous. And the perfume parlour code on this one is 1753. This one is a copy of Wicked Love from Maison Margiela, and it's part of the reproduction of Familiar Fantasies range, which come in the silver and black bottles. The top notes in this one are water hyacinth, basil and green pepper. In the mid we've got Egyptian jasmine and rose, and in the base there's cedar, vetiver and white musk. Yeah, so this is another challenging, unique and edgy kind of fragrance that will definitely divide opinions. It opens up with a strong green like bell pepper opening, and that's the part that makes you sit up and take notice. It's like someone walking into a room and firing off a starting pistol. It just disrupts your senses and kind of makes you sit up and take notice. Some people say that they can't actually get past the harsh opening and they hate it, but I don't mind it at all. Other people describe getting like a gunmetal type aroma in the opening, but for me it's the green pepper that I pick up on the most. However, this is far from a linear scent, and as it dries down it turns into a rich soapy scent with a hint of rose, which is actually really pleasant and nothing like the green pepper opening. I also own the perfume parlour copy of Dancing on the Moon from the same line, which is a safer choice, and the code on this one, if you're interested, is 1719, and it's called Twirling Light. But I personally enjoy both of these, so if you are looking for something a little bit different and out there, I would definitely say give these two a try. Okay, so the penultimate one in this haul is, in my opinion, one of the most divisive niche smelling scents in this list, and this one goes by the name of Joyous Wood, and the perfume parlour code on this one is 1523. This one is a copy of Oud for Happiness by Initio Parfums, which came out in 2021. The top notes in this are ginger and bergamot. In the mid we've got cedar, agar wood and licorice. In the base we've got herbal notes, musk and vanilla. Yeah, so when I uploaded my first video, I received a few comments from some of the female members of the Perfume Parlour Facebook group asking if I could include some unisex fragrances in this episode that would kind of break away from your stereotypical girly, fruity floral scents. And the first one that sprung to mind was this one. This was by far definitely not a love at first sniff for me, and I'd say that anyone who isn't fairly deep into their fragrance journey are probably going to find this one perhaps a bit too challenging. I remember smelling the original of this one for the first time in Selfridges, and I thought it was way too sweet and pungent, and I just didn't enjoy it at all. But then a few months later I received a copy of it in one of my free samples from the Perfume Parlour, and I really enjoyed it, and since then I've been back and I've compared this one to the original, and it smells extremely similar to my nose. So I must have just had an off day that day when I tried it for the first time, and maybe I've just tried a few sweeter smelling scents before this and just not kind of liked it, but I love it now. So this one is a sweet fragrance with a soft toasted caramel and a light spiciness coming from the ginger. There's also a hint of licorice in the background, but it's not an abrasive bitter licorice. It's quite mild, but you can actually isolate it if you concentrate and go looking for it. There's also a slight green herbal accord mixed in with these sweeter notes, which some people have described as smelling a little bit like cannabis, which I can kind of see where they're coming from, but don't worry, it's definitely not going to get you stopped and searched by the police. I don't actually get much in the way of the oud in this one whatsoever. However, there is a faint smokiness that does perhaps have a charred wood type of an aroma, but it's certainly nothing remotely similar to the oud that you get in Oud for Greatness, which has a very prominent oud accord. This probably isn't going to be to everyone's taste, so I'd say pick up a sample, and even if you don't like it the first time, I would say persist with it and try it a few weeks later, because it is one that definitely grows on you over time. Okay, last but not least, we have one that goes by the name of Fruit Nippon. And the Perfume Parlour code on this one is 1957. This one is a copy of Tom Ford's Plum Japonais, which has recently been discontinued, which is a real shame because it's one of the standout highlights for me in the Tom Ford's Private Blend collection. The top notes in this one are cinnamon and saffron. In the mid we've got cypress, camellia, plum blossom and a Japanese blossom. And in the base there's vanilla, benzoin, fir, amber and agar wood. Yeah, this is a bold, sweet and fruity plum fragrance that's marketed as a unisex scent, but to me it leans a bit more feminine in my opinion. The plum is the obvious standout note in this one, and it's like a super sweet plum jam. But there's also some cinnamon, some saffron, cypress, agar wood and a host of other notes that give it a slightly dark and smoky base. This is a fairly complex and challenging and mysterious fragrance with a dense full-bodied richness, which may be a bit too syrupy sweet for some people, but I absolutely love how this one smells, especially when you wear it outdoors on a cooler day. Again, this Perfume Parlour version smells extremely close to the original Tom Ford, and it has superb performance for just £17 for this 30ml extract spray and just £9 for the standard spray, so it's unbelievable value for a copy of a discontinued classic that's now becoming really, really difficult to find. Yeah, so in summary, I really enjoy all of these fragrances that's featured in today's haul, and that's probably why I've bought them all as the extract spray versions. But if I did have a gun pointed to my head and I had to pick 3 out of today's list that I'd personally want to smell on a woman, it would be the Gloria copy. I love that one. The copy of Killian's Rolling in Love, and also the copy of Jo Malone's Scarlet Poppy, which are also probably the safest and most mass appealing ones out of this particular haul. But if you are looking for something a little bit out there, a bit edgy and a bit quirky, then there's plenty to go at with all the others that I mentioned in this list, and it's all about discovering what's right for you personally. So I hope you have loads of fun testing them all out for yourselves, and I'd love to hear how you get along with them. So let me know down in the comments, or if you see me on the Perfume Parlour Facebook group, how you get along. So once again, that's about it for today's episode. If you found this video useful, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up and to subscribe to the channel. I will also do another one based on the women's scents if there's enough demand, but I'm now challenging you and I'm upping the stakes to 1,000 views on this video before I upload my next one. So share the hell out of it. If you're on any other groups, post it on there and do what you can. But if you can get me 1,000 views on it, I will do you another top 10 rundown. It's also great to hear all your opinions, your thoughts and your critiques on all of the fragrances that feature in this series of Perfume Parlour videos. So keep your comments coming down in the comments section. And if you've got any Perfume Parlour recommendations that you'd like me to feature in future hauls, please let me know. So once again, thank you very much for tuning into today's episode. Stay safe, keep smelling fresh, and I will hopefully see you very soon for another one. Bye bye for now.